What's going on, YouTube? How you guys doing today? It's your girl V, the Notary. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. If you guys live on the East Coast, hopefully you guys are staying dry. There is this supposed snowstorm that is supposed to be coming through that I haven't seen. But nonetheless, hopefully you guys are staying safe. So, you guys, I want to do something a little different and kind of pivot a little bit, but I only want to do this if you guys are interested in hearing about this particular subject. Okay, so we know that this channel is dedicated to all things notary related, all things real estate, more so notary, right? But that is just the tip of the iceberg of me in my career. Okay, the bulk of my career is I have a full-time job, and I want to talk to y'all about that a little bit and see if you guys are interested in learning more about that. Now, again, I'm not going to stop talking about the notary stuff. I'm not going to stop talking about real estate and things like that. But I wanted to incorporate that in this channel if you guys are interested, because a lot of you are dual career. There are some of you who are currently notaries who are trying to get out of the, notary career. Some of you are real estate agents who are trying to pivot. Or there's some of you, again, that are dual career and want to do all of it like me. So I want to kind of cater to all of you guys. And so I wanted to present, maybe a new area, but I don't really want to delve into it if you guys don't want to hear about it. I'm really focused on bringing you guys the kind of content that you want to hear. And not just the kind of content that I want to talk about. Okay, so what am I referring to? Drum roll. Working for the federal government. Okay, now this is an area even outside of notary, outside of real estate, that I'm an expert in, and I'm gonna tell you why. I have been a federal employee. To keep my anonymity, I'm not going to tell you guys the exact agency that I work for. I got to keep some things to myself, okay? But what I will say is there's two things. I have worked for more than one federal agency, and I have worked for the government for 19 years, you guys, okay? So I have a breadth of knowledge as it pertains to working for the government, the different branches of the government. I have tons and tons of friends that, let me just say this, because I know a lot of you are probably curious of where I live. I've been trying to hold it from you guys for a while, just because there are a lot of crazies, you guys, on the internet. And I don't really like to dox myself and really talk too much about where I live. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I live in Washington, D.C. That's where I actually live, in D.C., in the district, okay? I used to live in Maryland when I first moved to the DMV area 6, 7 years ago. But I actually do live in the district, okay? So I live in Washington, D.C., which makes sense to you guys probably, because if you're going to work for the government, this is usually, not always, because we can talk about, I have most of my friends either are teachers, work for the government, attorneys, federal law enforcement, all of that, okay? So I definitely know a lot about how to get a job in the government, the perks and all of the positives and the negatives on working for the government. You name it, I know about it, okay? But, so I told y'all where I live, because a lot of y'all ask, and I don't ever really like to talk about that, but I do live in DC, okay? I'm probably never going to give my real name out on this channel, because that's not really important. And I'm not going to tell you the agency that I work for. But yeah, so going back to working for the federal government, it is a great career. There's a lot of negatives that people talk about being a federal employee. And when I speak about federal employee, I'm not talking about, there's the local city employees, and there's state employees, and there's federal employees, right? So when someone says they are Fed, they're not just referring to CIA, FBI, DHS, all of that, HSI. They're not just referring to that. They are feds too, but people that work for the Department of Energy, HUD, Treasury, All of them. We're all feds. Okay. So if you hear me refer to a fed, it's someone who works for the federal government. Okay. Um, but as far as it goes for working for the federal government, there are pros and there are cons. There are far more positives, but I feel like we get a bad rep. I'm gonna tell you why. People say that we're lazy, right? People say that we waste taxpayers' money. People say that once we get in, it's kind of like a gang, and it's hard for outsiders to get in. Some of that's kind of true. And again, if you're interested in that, I can, kind of break down how to get past some of those barriers, what to look for in job announcements, how to apply to different jobs, how to up the stakes so that to make sure that you make the certification is what comes from human resources and goes to the managers, all of that stuff. I have the inside scoop. I have worked in so many areas in the federal government, you guys. But my background, particularly within the federal government, is within procurement and acquisition. And I am a program manager. And right now, what I do more specifically for the federal government is I work with small business programs, assisting small businesses and guiding them and mentoring them to help them to get federal contracts. Okay. So it's funny because all my friends, I have friends that are small business owners, and they're always like, hook me up, tell me what I need to do. I want to get, government contracts because there's so much money to be made, you know what I mean, with the federal government, not just in the private sector. And so, in a nutshell, yes, that is what I do for my 9 to 5. Okay. Now, let me also say this. I probably will never give this job up. And again, if you guys are interested to know why, this video was a little bit of a filler. I want to fill y'all out to see if y'all even want me to talk about this stuff. Because again, if you guys only want to hear about the notary stuff, I'll only talk about the notary stuff. But if you are more interested in, maybe you're a notary, but you're interested in also doing this, we can talk more about this. Let me also say this. I have a lot of friends that work for the government, like my legit friends who are also real estate agents, specifically in the DMV area. It's very popular. It's very popular for someone to work for the government and also be a real estate agent for several reasons. And a lot of that is the flexibility that comes along with being a federal employee. That's part of why I'll never leave, y'all. It's just there's so many benefits that come along with being a federal employee that I just, and I'm so invested at this point. I know I look young and supple, but your girl isn't quite as young as she used to be. I mean, young is a state of mind. I still am fine and all that. I keep myself together, but I got a little bit of traction in this federal government arena. But yeah, there's so many perks that come along with being a federal employee. I am very invested in with my retirement, all of that. So I probably would never leave unless I end up marrying a rich prince from Ghana or something like that was worth $1 billion and I never have to work. Outside of that, I'm not leaving. Everybody's situation isn't the same. But I know what I was going to say. I have a lot of friends that are full-time real estate agents that are they're like, look, I love the real estate thing, but it doesn't come with benefits. And, amongst all the other really, really great benefits that come along with being a federal employee, they're trying to get in, to also be dual career. So again, this video is not to discourage you from wanting to be a notary or a real estate agent. I just wanted to give you guys other options, just to let you know that, hey, you can do the notary thing full time if you want, because some people don't want to work for anybody. And I think that's great. If you're great at marketing yourself, if you're great at putting yourself out there and you just really want to, be fully engulfed in being a full-time contracted employee, your work 1099, you're working for yourself essentially. That's great too. It's all about your preference. But there are certain benefits that you don't get as a notary working for yourself. And insurance is a big one, especially if you are married, if you have children. Private insurance is really, really expensive. And so that's another thing that you might want to think about as well. But, I just wanted to present this to you guys and see what you guys think, because I am, again, very well versed in working for the government. I'm very familiar with pretty much every agency. I have friends at almost every agency, every type of field you could think of within the federal government, from if you want to pursue federal law enforcement, that includes, Secret Service, the marshals, the, special agent at HSI. I can give you advice on going that route. If you're looking for IT, human resources, if you're looking to go, the procurement and acquisition route like I am, if you're looking to be a contracting officer representative, which is a core, if you want to be in budget, accounting, all of it. I have friends in every single area because, again, in DC, everybody works for the government here. Not everybody, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. I know exactly what you need to do when you're filling out the applications. I know exactly how you need to fill them out, how you need to, sculpt your resumes for specific job announcements. I know what you need to do to make sure you make that cert. All of those things, I can help you guys with that. Again, if you're interested in that. Secondly, I know I mentioned that obviously we know that most of the federal agents, all of the federal agencies have representation here in DC, right? But that doesn't mean that if you live in Texas or if you live in Florida or whatever, that does not mean that you can't work for the government. Specifically, my agency, we have regions that are represented all over the country. Atlanta, Las Vegas, California, Dallas, Florida, Philly, everywhere. So you can also work for the federal government if you're not in the DC area. So I don't want you to think that just because you don't live here, then you don't have a possibility, because there are lots of jobs. Not as many, they're not as plentiful for obvious reasons, right? But you absolutely can be a federal employee outside of the DC area. Okay. So I didn't want you guys to feel discouraged. So yeah, I think I'm going to kind of stop there because I want to feel y'all out. I want y'all to tell me what you think about this video. I want you, and be honest. If you guys don't want to hear about this shit, tell me, because if you don't want to hear about it, then I have no problem. I enjoy talking to you guys about my experience as a notary and loan signing agent and real estate agent and all of that as well. I enjoy talking to you guys about that, but I thought it would be cool because I think there's a lot of barrier to entry to becoming a federal employee. I think a lot of people want to do it, but they don't pursue it as much because it can be difficult navigating it if you're not sure how to go about it. And there are certain agencies, depending on what you want to do, there are certain agencies that you should target, versus others. You know what I'm saying? For instance, if you're a scientist, you know what I'm saying? You probably shouldn't be trying to get a job at HUD. You know what I mean? Housing and urban development, that's what HUD is, right? If you're a scientist or you do research and development, you probably should be targeting NIH or, NOAA or one of those, so those types of things. Now, I definitely have been thinking about giving consultations on, navigating the federal landscape, because that is something that I am very proficient. I feel, very confident that I can help anybody get a job, or at least know the direction that they want to go in with that, if they need my help. So yeah, so you guys, please, and for this video, more than any that I've ever done, please drop down in the comments, say, V, we don't want to hear about this mess. Continue to talk about the notary stuff, or say, V, I want to know more about it. Give me more information. Let's delve into it a little deeper. I'm not going to be offended either way. I just really want to know what you guys want to hear about, because I want to give you guys the kind of content you want to hear. If you don't want to hear about it, then I'm not going to waste my time. Okay? So hopefully this video is helpful. Hopefully you guys thought it was interesting, and hopefully you learned a little more about me. Okay, so you guys, please enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Be safe. As always, like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, share this video with someone, you know, that you think may be interested in working for the government, or has thought about it, or wants to be dual career. You know what I'm saying? You might be a real estate agent, notary, you might, whatever it is that you want to do. And you might have been thinking about, okay, I think I might want to jump out there and try to get a federal position. You know, please share this video with someone that you think could find it useful. Okay. And please like, subscribe, and all of those good things. Okay. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.